All right. Thank you, Marcel. I hope everyone can hear me. Otherwise, I would expect someone to give me a sign. So, my name is Julian Grigo, as you heard, and I will be talking today about commoditizing crypto and banking. As we have heard, actually, 2 slots before, I think Simon Seiter from Deutsche Börse called this kind of commodity aspect of crypto. So, I am co-MD of the digital assets unit of Solaris Bank, which is a business unit of the Solaris Bank, the bank in Berlin. I joined just recently, so I'm very, very fresh here. 3 years before, the 3 years before this October, I headed the fintech department of Bitkom. Bitkom is the biggest tech association. You may have seen Patrick Hansen on stage here at Frankfurt School. He was my former colleague, and so I was heading the fintech department and represented basically the interest of exchanges, banks, and also fintech in front of the German politicians, the market authorities, as well as to the media. And maybe one little fun fact about my job back then. In November 2019, not a full year ago, I was on the public hearing. I was invited by the German Parliament, the Bundestag, to have a speech on the topic of the crypto custody. So that was actually the central public hearing on the implementation of this custody license that we have. And now I'm here as one of the heads of the BU at Solaris Bank that has applied for the license. So I wanted to start with this little bit of a fun fact. So before diving deeper into crypto, I want to have a small little story about what we can perceive in the banking market and what we understand as banking as a service, because it relies on to what we come next. It's kind of a crypto as a service. So looking back at the landscape of banks back in, let's say, 10, maybe 15 years, the landscape of financial services, of banking in Europe was basically, there were many lonely pillars, static pillars. These were banks, and these banks provided kind of every possible service bankings can provide. They had macroeconomic studies, they had equity debt, capital markets, debt capital markets, issuing of debt, and we heard Simon Seiter. It's a huge portfolio. What corporate banking is about. They have retail customers, cards issuing. They have ATMs, and you can get money from the shelter where people hand out the coins and so on. So that was banking. Whenever anyone wanted to get a banking service, what did you have to do? Of course, go to these banks. There was no other point on getting financial services instead of going to the banks, getting the service, go back to your normal life, if you want to call it like that. What happened in the next stage? Let's say 5 to 8 years ago, the first fintechs came up, maybe a little bit earlier, something like PayPal. They put a small piece of the value chain and made it better. They made it more efficient, they made it cheaper, they made it accessible from everywhere. Take, for example, PayPal with payments, and were simply good in what they did. We can see that in Germany with companies like N26. They put the infrastructure on a smartphone and are simply better in UX. They may have not the huge portfolio, but they have small parts of the value chain and they are better. Take, for example, Scalable Capital is also an example. So what happened there, that these silos were breaking off. It's kind of this unbundling of banking that we could see. So that's the second step. So the third step is this. It is what we call contextual banking. We see companies like Apple, which is not a bank, or Uber, which is not a bank, tapping into financial services. And it's not like that you would have to go to an Apple store to get a financial service to do Apple Pay. And you would also not have to go to the Uber headquarters in the US to get a loan. But still, Uber provides payment for people, for participants or members. And the drivers get an account and also loan services and so on. So these customer-centric, fully digital banks brands will be able to bring in contextual finance, contextual banking, and guess what? Of course, not become a bank. They will not apply for a banking license, believe that. And they all, all have in common? It's digital. They are pure digital players. They have a huge and brilliant customer experience, and they enhance this experience through new services, financial stream, and get a new revenue stream, and maybe also data from that. So if you abstract away from that, if you are one of these players, maybe a small fintech, maybe a small just lifestyle brand being founded here in Germany, somewhere in Europe, would you try to go for option A, which is become a bank yourself? Or would you rather go with the infrastructure and a licensed provider that can offer you or can enable you to offer this service to your customers? Let's look at this option one, option A, where you become bank yourself. So you might need an investment of 20 million euros to start, to get all this, to overcome the regulatory burden, to have all these processes, to become a bank and have this license. And also, it may take you 12 to 18 months. It's really not easy to apply for such a license. So it's a very, very long time to market. And option B, and that's where our vision kicks in, we thought, why not build a bank that abstracts away all this complexity from a tech level as well as from the regulatory one? So why not enhance the speed and flexibility for time to market for businesses? Why not have a service that is totally neutral when it comes to addressing their customers? We as a Solaris Bank do not address customers, the end customers of all partners. We only address our partners. And we have built this all on a modern tech stack, which is scalable and has no legacy risks. So back in 2015, we had this idea of founding this company, Solaris Bank, and already in March 2016, we got the full German banking license. And how does this ecosystem that we talk about look like? So the Solaris Bank's ecosystem basically consists of this main layer, which is us. You see our logo on the left side, and then you see a couple of products. These products are all products that are highly commoditized and we think are the basis for financial services. It's KYC, digital banking, cards, payments, lending, and you see 3 dots, and you may know where that leads to. I will tell a little bit later about this because there's a new product in the pipeline and already active, some parts of it. So we offer these services through APIs to our partners, and these partners can be banks, corporates, big techs, fintechs, can actually be anyone. And what we do not address their end customers. And their end customers can be retail customers, but also, again, business customers. So our business model basically is B2B to X. And this X can be another B, so it could be B2B2B or B2B2C when it's end customers. And as we are a platform, we, of course, also source some services like card processing, e-signature, KYC, and scoring. So that's basically the ecosystem of Solaris Bank. To give you 2 little examples of what are these kind of partners that are working on this layer of infrastructure that we build. It's, for example, Penta. It's a fintech from Berlin. They are an SME company, a bank that provides banking services to small, medium enterprises and startups. What do we provide? It's KYC, digital banking, and cards from this foundation layer that I described one slide before. Another example is what we are very, very proud of is Samsung. I think on Tuesday, actually this week, we went live with Samsung Pay. So the big brand from South Korea with more than 20 million customers only in Germany, right? With hundreds of million customers globally. And they choose us as the platform where they start the Europe rollout of their payment service. What we bring in? The KYC, the fully AML KYC process, cards issuing, which is virtual cards that you can see on the Samsung mobile here on the right side of this slide, as well as lending services. And this is exactly what we mean when we say contextual banking. Samsung is not a bank, but they can provide financial services. So let's get back to the slide. In 2017, we already had 35 partners. And then we figured out, okay, in 2017, there was this ICO mania and this hype, and we need to bring banking services to these companies. And so we launched a banking service to the specific crypto startups. We called it the Blockchain Project. And one of the examples of this is Bitmala. It's maybe one of the most well-known retail brands in the German market when it comes to crypto banking and investing in crypto. So we brought in the banking side of it, KYC, banking, cards, and they brought in the crypto side of it. So we brought in our commoditized banking services so they could build a full bank stack on that. And then came the crypto license. As said before, like a year ago, I was in the German Bundestag in the German Parliament lobbying for this crypto custody license. And now, at the same time, basically, we applied for that. We built the Solaris digital asset because now we think following. We have commoditized banking. We have commoditized KYC. We have commoditized lending. Why not? Since there's this license and since there are high also technical burdens to offer the service, why not also commoditize this and offer that like an app store, like in the app store, all of our partners, this product of crypto custody. And that brings us to this slide. You are familiar with that. There's just one little change. You see this rectangle, this orange rectangle on the right side. It's a digital asset platform. So now in this whole ecosystem, the custody of crypto assets is also available. Just plug and play. You can use digital custody of assets from us. So with this commoditizing, we actually have our mission ready, which is driving digital asset adoption with the claim to enable basically anyone to offer crypto and banking services to everyone. That is what drives us. How does it look like in the end? So as said, we do not address the end customer. It's basically our partner who does it. So this smartphone, this app comes from our partner. They plug in the KYC API, custody API, banking API, and they can offer the full service. The key benefits of that is a faster time to market. You do not have to apply for a license. You do not have to build all this tech stack. We have it for you. Second, it's the single integration. You don't have to source it from a KYC provider and also from a custody and also from a banking provider. No, it's just one full stop shop. And it's security out of the box. And as said, with the licensing, a strong regulatory empowerment of our partners. That's another slide, shows you the light blue is the UI from our partners. Then comes our KYC solution. After that follows fiat implementation and also the custody in reverse order. All right. So what is, when it comes down to crypto, what have we built? What is our mission there? What do we believe in? We think to understand Bitcoin is hard enough. We in this room, or like everyone who joins digitally, we are well aware of digital scarcity. We are well aware of mining and security, settlement layer and decentralization. But many people out there are not. So we need to abstract the complexity away. It needs to be usable. So no private key in the hands of an average Joe, right? So it has to be instant. It must be like WhatsApp, Netflix, and consuming some kind of entertainment in the internet. And it has to be very, very convenient. So on the security layer, and I'm honored to have my speech after Curve, which is very interesting. Also, we do use a MPC solution. So our private key is kind of broken up. There's no single point of failure when it comes to exposure to one part of it. And only together we can sign transactions. And through MPC, we combine the good from two worlds. From the one hand, high accessibility of funds. And on the other hand, it's a high security at the same time. Through MPC, we have it both. It's secure and instantly available. And also, it's a very high integrity our platform provides because it's an auditable banking grade infrastructure with this key ceremony. It's audited by an audit firm, so that's also very, very secure. So, of course, on the compliance part, I talked about the licenses. We apply for the custody license. We already have the banking license, and of course, fully automated crypto AML monitoring already implemented. I want to highlight this point with a digital KYC, which is basically, you may all be familiar with video ident, right? So video ident brings in some problems. I mean, it's a good solution, but it can be better. It's not fully digital because on the other side of the screen, there's a person, right? So it will not be accessible 24/7. There may be downtimes. It's costly, and it's not easy to work with that. I tried that once with my grandmother, and it's like, believe me, it's not too easy for everyone. So we brought up the service of a bank ID, bank ident. So it's really fully digital, and it's a really game changer. You may have heard about that through the Samsung Go Live, but it will really change the market of KYC in Germany. So And we are also already live with the system. We, for a SEO product where our partner Palmtrip tokenizes luxury real estate on a ERC20 based security token. What do we in this case? We KYC their investors. We hold the or we receive the fiat money for their investors and hold also on the crypto custody side the ERC20 token. So with us, Palmtrip only had to address one single contact, which is Solaris Bank and Solaris Digital Asset, and we bring in the full stack compliance service with a very easy pay-in experience because the end customer only has to deal with one service called Solaris Bank as a licensed provider. And to close my little speech here, our mission is basically to enable anyone to offer crypto and banking services to everyone, because we strongly believe in that as banking services like lending, payments, card issuing, and so on can be commoditized, so can crypto services, crypto custody, and many more features to come in the future as well can be commoditized. And through that, we will drive together with you crypto mass adoption. Thank you very much.